How can I take more effective climate action? Is this something that's on your mind? So if it is, stick with us because we're going to be talking about this in building the Climate Action Consortium. So here we go. So we're talking about building the Climate Action Consortium, stepping up the learning and empowerment. That's our way of doing this, which I want you to stick with us because this can really make a difference. So this is week 10, March the 7th, 2023. My name is Art Johnson. I'm the CEO and Chief Learning Officer of New World Communications, my own consulting practice and virtual enterprise. And that's my contact information. So last week we were talking about what's been missing is people power, but this week we've been discovering what's been missing, really creative people power, addressing Earth's pressing climate change challenges as creative and innovative climate action opportunities in timely mission critical ways through really creative people power. And what we did is several months ago, we actually started this by discovering amazing Joanna Macy and Chris Johnstone in their book, Active Hope, How to Face the Mess We're In with Unexpected Resilience and Creative Power. And this is a revised edition. The first edition was 2012, and then 10 years later, she then came out with even more good news in this book. And part one is about the great turning. What we're experiencing is, on the one hand, a great unraveling of systems falling apart that no longer serve us well. And then on the other hand, we're seeing a new great turning towards something more promising that's now taking shape. And to get there, she talks about seeing with new eyes, a different perspective on the world and on the evolution of consciousness itself and our place in history, which is very interesting. And part three has to do with going forth really courageously in spite of all of the bad news and all of the concern. And chapter 12 is about maintaining energy and motivation. She is the master at this. And she speaks her truth in her age. She's 93 years young, and she is just amazing. I saw her again recently as I've been doing my YouTube research on my channel development, and I found a great interview with the title Climate Crisis as a Spiritual Path on Old Dog Documentaries, a YouTube channel. And that's really an interesting channel. And she says the problem in this is our mistaken identity as consumers. We don't really understand our connection to nature and to the universe and to life itself. And one of the things that's helped her is her Buddhism and looking at suffering. And she really sees grief as a doorway to profound caring, which is, her life. And suffering with this environment, not escaping it, but actually going through it and figuring out ways to deal and ameliorate the suffering. And it starts with simple gratitude, being glad you're alive. That just kind of, I can really relate to that. I had quad bypass heart surgery several years ago. And coming out of that just really punctuated my life really joyously to say, hey, listen, this is my calling to make every lasting moment on the earth plane really count. So that's really neat. And being the mystery of life itself, which is what she is, her calling and being that. And her activism is just great. She says, don't have people ask me if how I'm feeling about climate, whether I'm hopeless or hopeful. I'm too busy actively doing something with it, about it, which I think is really a great deal. She said, young David, and with looking at young David against Goliath, you didn't ask him how you feeling. He just took action, took his slingshot and did his thing. That comes from her. her biblical understanding here. She says, we're always walking the path of uncertainty. It's not a certain thing that we'll make it in time as the climate clock flicks down and all this stuff going on in the world. We're, teetering on the edge of nuclear holocaust and all kinds of things that are messing with us. But you've got to make a choice, despite this, about affirming life and being life itself in your affirmation. And she talks about her faith beyond being raised in a progressive, feel-good, but patriarchal Christian church, which is quite interesting to take note. And at the end of this video, you see that she has actually, her comments are actually part of a documentary that she participated in 2014, which I then investigated on YouTube. I actually investigated it at first on Google and then discovered it. The link is called The Wisdom to Survive, Climate Change, Capitalism, and Community. And this is not so much a critique of all of capitalism, but of monopoly capitalism. And I think she has a social idea for capitalist society and building community across the planet. And it's produced and directed by Anne Macksaud and John Ankele. And it's 56 minutes and 44 seconds long. It's worth every moment for bringing you up to speed and getting some good insight on being inspired and maintaining your discipline of taking climate action effectively. And it's on PBS, made here. That's the link. And even though this was produced in 2014, this expires on that PBS channel on April the 4th, 2023. So it's still time for you to go view it and absorb it and reflect on it. So, it's really neat. And then I found an actual interview of filmmaker Anne Macksaud about what inspired her to create this amazing documentary. And she said, when I first saw the first 21 minutes, I couldn't help but keep the tears back. Her grief at seeing what was going on with the planet and how well that was being expressed. And of course, Joanna Macy and others inspired her with her act of hope. And The Wisdom to Survive is an actually very important 2014 creative work. So kind of what next? So what next is, let's talk. After viewing the documentary and the interview with Anne, why don't you give me a call at 206-920-8067 or text me at that number or email me at support@newworldcom.com or visit my website, that's New World Communications, at www.newworldcom.com, and visit our whole suite of e-learning services, and then go to our Contact Us page and request a meeting, a Zoom meeting that we'd be glad, a complimentary Zoom meeting to learn more about and explore ways that we can connect with each other and do what we can to serve the planet really, really, really well. So thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you.